Joy, 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 joy to the world.
Sing joy to the world. Yes, hope and serenity. Yes, good morning, Mechanicsville. How you doing this morning? This is Don Curtis. And this is another day that God has made for you and for me, so that you and I might discover again the fact that God's joy and his peace is a reality. Yes, it's not hocus pocus, it's not pie in the sky, but it's your life, it's my life. It's what we live by, it's what we live in. Yes, his joy. Yes, good morning, Washington, D.C. Good morning, WBRFM. Yes, everybody there in Wigan Barrow, England, good morning to you. Merry Christmas to you as well. In London, England as well. In fact, all over the United Kingdom. We have a whole bunch of listeners throughout that part of the world and whatnot. And we just give God thanks and praise for you. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Good morning. Good morning. In fact, not only United Kingdom, but Spain as well. We have a number of listeners in Spain and Australia, South Africa, Canada, Singapore, and Ghana. Those are our top 7 nations that listen to us on a regular basis. We just give God thanks and praise for them. Of course, several states here in the U.S. We just give God thanks and praise for all the towns, all the cities, all the neighborhoods that listen to us. Merry Christmas to you this morning. Yeah, the sound of joy is all over the place. It's Christmas time. Yes, it is.
The sound of joy, let us receive our King. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations move. The glories of his righteousness and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love. Wonders of his love, let us receive our King.
Yes, good morning, Waldorf, Maryland. Good morning, Christchurch family. Yes, good morning, Upper Marlboro. Yes, good morning, La Plata. Good morning, Lexington Park. Yes, good morning, Leonardtown. Good morning, Indianapolis, Indiana. Good morning, San Jose, California. Yes, good morning to you. Ann Arbor, Michigan. Good morning to you. Flagler Beach in Florida. Orlando, Florida. Good morning to you guys. Gainesville, Florida. Good morning to you as well. Merry Christmas to you guys. Merry Christmas to you and your family, all your loved ones.
Let us receive our King.
Yes, it's Christmas time. Yes, it is. It's time to celebrate. In fact, we celebrate all year long because we just don't wait until just near the end of the year just to celebrate God's goodness towards us. But, you know, we celebrate it every single day. In fact, this is the day that the Lord has made. How does it go? Let us rejoice, yes, and be exceedingly glad in it, yes. Yeah, we greet each other every single morning that way because we just remind each other and encourage each other to understand, look, this is a whole brand new day. Whatever happened yesterday, that's in the past. You can't go back and change anything. You can't modify nothing at all. And guess what? Tomorrow hasn't come and is not even promised to you or me at all. So let's not even be concerned too much about tomorrow. But what we have is right now, this very moment. And so we can take this very moment and just have this moment filled with the joy of God, filled with God's joy. Yes. Yes, if you're just laying in bed, before you get up out of bed, you can just put on the joy of the Lord. Yeah, your mind can be already fixed on this is the day that the Lord has made for me, and I'm going to rejoice. I'm going to rejoice. I can't speak for anybody else, but I can speak for myself. And you can't speak for anybody else, but you sure enough can speak for you. And you can decide already, look, I'm going to rejoice today. I'm going to be exceedingly glad no matter what comes my way, because I'm understanding that this is God's desire for me. God wants me to rejoice. He gets good pleasure out of my joy. Yes, he wants my joy to be full. In fact, he has given me his joy for the express purpose of making my joy full. Yes. So that my capacity for joy is expanded as it is stretched beyond its normal borders and whatnot, because I have the joy of the Lord on the inside of me. It's my strength that stretches and empowers me and makes me stronger day by day, so that God's joy, Jesus' joy on the inside of me, it spills over. In fact, it unites with my joy, and it expands my joy to realms and places that I never knew joy existed before in my experience and in my being. And that is what is possible for you today. That's why today is such a glorious day. That's why it's such a fantastic day, because this is a day that God can stretch your joy beyond boundaries that you never thought it could stretch before. Yeah, you can find yourself rejoicing in the presence of iniquity and rejoicing in the presence of great evil, rejoicing in the presence of your enemies. I tell you, no matter who they might be, yes, you can rejoice in their presence. In fact, you and I began to discover that we wrestle not against flesh and blood. It's not people. It's not other people that's really the issue. It is the wickedness of the enemy behind all that. Yes, spiritual wickedness in high places. But guess what? That don't make no difference, because our God, he spreads out, he fixes, he prepares, he lays out for us this banquet table in the presence of our enemy. So we can rejoice and be more than glad, but exceedingly glad. And I tell you, I'm just so thrilled to discover over and over again, and to reaffirm to myself again, the fact that God delights in my delight. He delights in me rejoicing. He delights in me enjoying life. Yes, he does. He delights in that. In fact, it's his good pleasure that I might have joy today. He desires for me to have joy that's unspeakable and full of glory. In fact, the glory of the Lord is expressed in my joy. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. God made me and fashioned me to be a being full of joy. He made me to be a joyful creation. Yes, he did. He made me to sing, to praise, to clap my hands. He made me to be able to dance in his presence. He made me to be able to enjoy joy. He made me to be able to know what joy is all about, to even feel joy deep down in my spirit, in my soul. He made you the same way, so that you might be able to experience his joy. Yeah. Yeah, I tell you, I just give God thanks and praise for knowing and understanding the fact that God just delights in that. That's what his will is for me today. That's what his will is for you today, that you might be in a place of rejoicing in your mind, in your thoughts, in your constitution, in your demeanor, in your attitude, that you might have an attitude of rejoicing all day long today, that your joy would be so full that nothing can disturb that joy. Nothing can water down that joy at all. Even if you're going shopping today and you have a special gift in mind for a special friend, and you go and you can't find it, that you're not finding that thing today, that gift today is not going to anyway water down your joy. And if you find that there's so many people out shopping and the crowds are out, and guess what? The traffic is slow and the lines are long. guess what? It's not going to have any impact on your joy. No, 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 because you have the joy of the Lord which strengthens you, that makes you strong so you can sing and rejoice right in that long line. In fact, you begin to say, hey, this line is real long. That means I can rejoice for a long time right in the midst of this line. And who knows? You might be able to share your joy with somebody else. Yeah, somebody else might need your joy because their joy is so small that little line is going to mess them up, might mess up the rest of their day, might have them in a whole bad attitude once they get out of that line. And so your joy might be sufficient to spill over on them so that they might be able to taste and see that the Lord is good because they can see this joy that you have. Yeah, and you might be able to share it with them because you can see that they're getting kind of perturbed. They're getting kind of frustrated with this long line and all these people all around it. So they could receive some of your joy. They could use some of your joy. Yeah, so don't be surprised if you're able to just by your presence, just by the presence of the Lord in you and his joy just overflowing in you, that it might spill over on somebody else. Yes. Yeah, and then we said yesterday, your Merry Christmas. You're saying Merry Christmas to somebody would have a dynamic impact on them so that now their joy begins to be pumped up as a result of you sharing your joy. And your joy is always full because your fullness of joy is coming from the joy of the Lord. He has given you his joy. In fact, he's spoken these words to you and to me. I hope you've been taking out a little bit of time and just reading what he has said to you and to me. So I say these things unto you that my joy might remain in you and that your joy might be filled. I tell you, if I'm looking for joy today, I just want to hear what the Lord has said to me. I want to hear what he's talking about so that his joy might remain in me and that my joy might be full. Yeah, and we're finding out that not only was this God's desire that we find out in the New Testament times and whatnot that's relevant to you and to me today, but even before that, David, a man after God's own heart, in the Psalms that he wrote and whatnot, there was joy sprinkled throughout that as well. Yes, in Psalms 5, he says, but let all those that put their trust in thee rejoice. Yes. David said, let everybody who trusts in thee, everybody who believes God, everybody who trusts in God, let them rejoice. Let them ever shout for joy. Yes. Not only is there joy deep down on the inside of you, but guess what? It's so powerful on the inside of you that it might cause you to shout for joy. Have you ever shouted for joy before? Have you ever had that experience that your heart is just so full of joy that you just can't keep it to yourself, that you got to shout? There are times when I share with some of the saints that I fellowship with, sometimes you just got to shout. Sometimes you just got to let it out. And I tell you, I thank God for the fellowship that we have that freedom. That if you feel like shouting, you can shout. I tell you, if you feel like shouting right now, you can shout because you got reason to shout. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You can't help yourself because your joy has been made full. And if somebody come up to you and say, what you shouting about? You okay? You say, listen, am I okay? I tell you, I was just thinking about how good God been to me, how good he is to me right now. And guess what? I haven't seen yet how good he's going to be for me. I was just thinking about that, and I couldn't help myself. I just had to shout. I had to get it out because I was feeling so good on the inside. I had to shout. I had to let it out. So David said, let them ever shout for joy. Yeah, shout because of joy. Shout because their joy is full, because their joy is exceedingly rich, that they can't help themselves. They shout for joy because thou defendest them. Yes. Yeah, when you and I began to understand it, wait a minute, he is my defense. He is my buckler and my shield. He is my great high tower. Yeah, he's the one that looks out for me. He's the one that looks after me. He's the one that provides for me. Yeah, he's the one that opened up doors for me. He's the one that closed doors for me. He's the one that leads me and guides me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. That's what he does. He defends me. And so David said, let them just look at one thing that you do, that you defend them, and as a result of that, that they might shout for joy. Let them also that love your name be joyful in thee. Yes. He said, even let those that love your name, love who you are, love who your essence is all about, knowing that you are agape, that you are divine love, love in a dimension that we've never experienced before. That's who you are. And as a result of people knowing and understanding your name, let them be joyful. Listen to this, in you. Not in their situation, not in their circumstances, not in their job, not in their possessions, not in their 401k, not in their bank account. No, let them rejoice in you. Yes, be joyful in you. Be joyful in you. That's Psalms 5. Yes. Yeah. Joy. Yes. In fact, there are 5 that we were going to look at this morning. I hope we have time. Psalm 16. Psalm 16. Yes, another one is Psalms 27, verse 6. Psalms 30, verse 5, and Psalms 35, verse 27. But in Psalms 16, verse 11, yeah, this is even a prophecy, a foretelling about Christ. Thou will, 10 says, for thou shalt not leave my soul in hell, neither will you suffer your Holy One to see corruption. You're not going to allow his body to corrupt. Thou will show me the path of life, and in your presence is fullness of joy. And at your right hand there are pleasures forevermore. In his presence, in the presence of the Lord, in the presence of God himself, there is this fullness of joy. And you will show me the path of life. And I'm so grateful and thankful that I found out that the path of life is Christ himself. In fact, not Christ distant from me or far from me, not a Jesus Christ who's dead and resurrected and sin is gone away, that one day I hope I might be able to meet. No, this is Jesus Christ present right here in me, in you. Christ in you and Christ in me, the hope of glory. And he now shows me that he is that path of life. In fact, he says that he is life. He is life. He is life. He is the way. He is the truth. He is life. And so I'm so grateful and thankful to see that Jesus Christ himself, not some theological construct, not some church affirmation, but Jesus Christ himself. He is that path of life. He is the life. And guess what? In his presence is fullness of joy. Yes, in the presence of the Lord, there's fullness of joy. Now, when you and I embrace this, when you and I say, hey, I believe that, I know that's true, and then we couple that up with the fact that we are always in his presence, then we know that we're always in a place of joy. That no matter where we are, on our way to our job, on the job, after the job, doing lunch break, wherever, at the gym, at the restaurant, the grocery store, at the dry cleaners, wherever we are, in the carpool, wherever, we're in his presence. So there's joy. That's right there. In his presence, there is not just joy, but fullness of joy. And I tell you, as we receive Christ, we understand not only is God with us, not only are we in his presence, but he is on the inside of us. And so right inside of you, the presence of God in you means that there is a fullness of joy in you right now. There's a fullness of God's joy in me right now. I don't have to go looking for it. It is right here. It is in me. In fact, it has united itself with me. Yes. Yes, Christ in me. Yes. Not only the hope of glory, but Christ in me, the very source of joy. Christ in me is the fullness of joy. Not external from me, but in me. Yeah, so when I go to fellowship, when I'm in church, I'm not looking externally for somebody to pump me up, somebody to give me joy. I bring it right along with me. In fact, I bring the fullness of joy with me, that I might be able to share that with somebody else, that they might know and see and believe and understand that they have on the inside of them the very source of joy itself. I like this. This is no religious garbage at all. In fact, this is not even religion. I'm not a religious person. I don't like religion because it's bondage. I like freedom. I like he that the Son of Man sets free is free indeed. I like life. Yeah, he has come that I might have and you might have life and have it more abundantly. And I'm finding out that part of this life is the fact that I have fullness of joy on the inside of me, that the joy of the Lord is mine. So no matter where I am, no matter what I'm going through, no matter what I'm doing, that the presence of God in me, that Jesus Christ in me, the joy of the Lord in me, that's the source of my joy. I'm not looking for joy on the outside of me. I know that the fullness of joy is on the inside of me. And I know that Jesus Christ in me, that one of the reasons why he's there is that I might have my joy full and overflowing. I feel like shouting right now. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because Jesus said to the woman at the well, if you knew the gift of God, if you knew what it was, you would stop coming back to this doggone dead well every single day, quenching your thirst. In fact, if you knew the gift of God, you've asked of me, I would give to you a source of great joy on the inside of you, a river of living water bubbling up on the inside of you that will be so powerful that you'll never thirst again. You won't have to come back to this old dead well again. Yeah, he's talking about you. He's talking about me. That this gift that God has given to you and to me, that's why we're celebrating Christmas. Oh, yeah, we give presents and gifts to one another, but they're just shadows and types of the fact that God has given a gift to every single one of us. Yes. That'll fill your joy. It'll overflow your life. And your enemy, the one that hates your guts, the one that would like to see you dead, the one that would like to see you miserable, he don't want you to hear this. He don't want you to know this. He don't want you to experience this. But guess what? He don't have the final say in your life whatsoever. And I tell you, I'm just excited. I'm ecstatic. Yes, yes. Yes, you will show me the path of life, and in your presence is fullness of joy. Listen to this, and at your right hand are pleasures forevermore. I love that God desires for you to enjoy everything about your life. And not only that, but there are pleasures. God wants you to experience pleasures, that God gets pleasure out of you enjoying his pleasures. There are pleasures forevermore. Not something temporary, not just a little bit of happiness that'll get you through the day, not just a little dab or do you. No, we're talking about an everlasting, a kind of pleasure. In fact, I like this. There are pleasures, plural, all kinds of pleasures, all kinds of delights. Yeah, that are there for you, that are there for me. And where are these pleasures at? Well, they're in his presence. And where is his presence at? His presence is in you. He exists in you. He lives in you. And so in you is not only the fullness of joy, but also there are pleasures forevermore on the inside of you, because that's where God is. That's where his presence is. It's not in some brick and mortar. It's not in some building. It's not some place that you go to hoping that you might find some joy there. No. It's right on the inside of you. It's in you right now. And one of the writers said, look, he's not far from us at all. In fact, the word of faith, he says, that actually produces this is right inside your mouth. In other words, as you confess this, as you believe this, as you speak this, as you actually bring this to pass, your words have life and death in it. And you can speak life to your situation right now. Yes, you can. That's the kind of power that God has placed on the inside of you, that you could speak and agree with him. And you can say, you know something? I got the fullness of God's joy on the inside of me right now. In fact, I have his pleasures, in fact, pleasures forevermore on the inside of me, because his presence is in me. And he promised me that he'll never leave me nor forsake me, but that he would be with me always, even until the end of time. There's nothing I can do, nothing I can say that would remove his presence from me, that he would never leave me nor forsake me, period, no matter what. That's what agape love is all about. That's what divine love is all about. That's what unconditional love is all about. Yeah, I tell you, so I have this source. You have this source of great joy on the inside of you. That will always be there. In fact, sometimes I believe God allows you and I to go through some difficult times so that you and I might experience that even though that is happening to us, there is deep down in us this source of joy, this river of life, this presence of Christ in us that makes himself known right in the midst of that struggle. So that you can find a weird feeling on the inside of you that even though things might be falling apart, you have this spark of joy on the inside of you. It's the joy of the Lord, which is there to make your joy full. Yeah, it's that pilot light that's ready to just catch the rest of you on fire. It's ready to come out with a great old blaze. Yeah. The joy of the Lord is your strength. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah. Yep. Psalms 27. Psalms 27, verse 6. In fact, verse 5. For in the time of trouble he shall hide me in his pavilion. In the secret of his tabernacle shall he hide me. He shall set me up upon a rock. And now shall my head be lifted up above my enemies round about me. Therefore will I offer in his tabernacle sacrifices of joy. Listen to this. I will sing. Yea, I will sing praises unto the Lord. Why is this? Oh, because he has lifted up my head above my enemies. I'm now standing tall. I'm above my enemies. I'm above all my trials. I'm above all my temptations. I'm above all my difficulties. I'm above all my disappointments. I'm above all my heartbreaks. I'm above all that. The Lord has lifted me up. He has lifted me up. He has hidden me in the time of trouble. Yeah, he's hidden me in his pavilion in the secret place of his tabernacle. And then he has set me upon a rock, Christ himself. And now my head is lifted up above my enemies that are round about me. Therefore will I offer in his tabernacle sacrifices of joy. Yeah, when you don't feel like it. When you don't feel like giving God praise. When you don't feel like rejoicing. Yeah, I know how those times are. All of us have those times. We just don't feel like it. Yeah, I know the Lord is good, but I just don't feel like it right now. I don't feel like singing right now. I don't feel like rejoicing right now. I don't feel like clapping my hands right now. I don't feel like being joyful. I want to be mad for a bit. Yeah, I have a right to be upset for a little bit. Just let me be mad for a bit, and I'll rejoice later on. No. Right in the midst of that, when you feel like that, that's when you offer up the sacrifices. I like this. In other instances, it says sacrifice of praise, but in this, it says the sacrifices of joy. In other words, you just say, you know something? I'm going to sacrifice that bad feeling. I'm going to sacrifice that bad attitude right now. I'm going to offer up the sacrifice of joy. I'm going to open up my heart right now, and guess what? I'm going to shout even though I don't feel like shouting. I'm going to clap my hands even though I don't feel like clapping my hands. I'm going to praise God even though I don't feel like. In fact, I just want to stay on this joy part of it. I'm just going to, guess what? I'm going to smile anyhow. It's not no fake smile. No. This is a smile that's deep down on the inside of me, and I know I got this struggle. I know I got this fight against it, but I'm going to smile anyhow. There may be a part of me that might be frustrated, but guess what? The joy of the Lord on the inside of me is my strength, and I'm going to rejoice anyhow. Yeah. Yeah, joy to the world. I didn't think we were going to get through all of them. Yeah, we just got through 3 of them. We got 2 more left. Yeah, you might want to do them on your own. It's Psalms 30, verse 5 and 35, verse 27. Yeah, just read and remember that he is saying these things unto you that his joy might remain in you because it's already there, and that your joy might be made full. Yes. Good morning, Mechanicsville. Good morning to you. I hope your joy is full this day. Joy to the world, hope and serenity. We give God thanks for you ladies today. Joy to the world. Yes, it's Christmas time. Yes, it is. It's time to receive every gift God has for you and for me. Receive every single gift. Yeah, take it. It's yours. Got your name on it.
receive our King. Let us receive our King.
Yes, Merry Christmas to those that listen to us by way of Twitter, on Facebook, Mixcloud, Radio Public, Sermon Audio, one of our mainline, one of our foundational platforms. We've been reaching out for many, many years across this world and whatnot. We just give God thanks and praise for Stephen and for all of his crew there. Merry Christmas to you guys. Spreaker.com. Merry Christmas to you. iHeartRadio and TuneIn Radio. That's iTunes and Platro. Yes, good morning. Merry Christmas to you guys. Merry Christmas to you and your families. Our new listeners at WBR-FM in Wigan Barrow, England. Good morning to you and Merry Christmas to you guys as well.
Let us receive our King.